fresh off of WWE main event. This is going to be a review slash analysis and like predictions for the future. Literally ended 7 minutes ago. Uh, it's gonna be my overall thoughts and review of the card and how everything went. So let's get right into it. We'll start with the first match here, which was Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Kick off the night. I think Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker winning was the expected outcome. Winning clean made sense, semi clean. I think the main story with this match is the post action and the return of Bronson Reed, creating the interference and aligning himself with Seth and Braun. I think we've been speculating who the third member was going to be for this group, this new evolution, however you want to call it. And look, I think Bronson Reed is a good choice. I think he could be the Batista, if you will, or the enforcer of the group. Makes a lot of sense. I think him with Seth was a great callback, and like Bronson's good. I think he stepped up when he was facing Seth before. He put his name out there. Was unfortunate that he got injured during that whole thing when he was working with Seth. So good to see him back. Good to see him in a very high leverage spot. And look, it's very similar to Evolution where you need these new guys to step up, and I think Bronson Reed can do that and will do that. I think now it's the question of whether this is going to be the main group going forward or whether we will see a new member or a fourth member join. Because if we're going by Evolution, that being the baseline, you have Seth playing a Triple H role, you have Paul Heyman playing the Ric Flair role, Braun and Bronson being the B&B is one, Braun and Bronson being the Randy Batista role. I think it's a question of whether Paul really stays as like the Ric Flair advisor role, because Ric Flair did wrestle during Evolution, so I think it'd be interesting to see if we get a fourth member, could be like an older guy or like another veteran join the group, whether that is a Karrion Kross or possibly a Sami Zayn, or it could be a Becky Lynch, could be really cool as well, or Roxanne Perez. I think could be really fun as like a new kind of twist on this new Evolution. But like in terms of like the match itself, it was solid. I mean, CM Punk was great. Sammy was great. Everybody did their role. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. Everybody got the chance to shine. Sami Zayn was really good in this match. I felt like, um, but they're all fantastic wrestlers. I think you really saw good kind of pacing, and it was an overall fun match. I don't really have too much to gripe with. I think it's a solid B plus if we're going by grading system. Nothing to write home about. But I think what you take away from the post match is what kind of defines how you view this match forward. And I think going forward, you can continue to see that there's going to be a constant feuding between Seth and Punk in this new group. Maybe Punk starts to recruit some people, and then Seth just kind of reigns terror with his crew till SummerSlam, maybe to Survivor Series. We'll see. I think this is gonna be a long feud between Seth and Punk. We'll see where it ends up going and how far it goes. Um, and yeah, I think overall, like it's a really really good kind of dynamic that you have now with bringing Bronson Reed in as kind of like the physical threat and the enforcer on top of Braun Breaker. And yeah, I think overall it's a cool storyline to bring him back and join Seth and just kind of be like Seth recruiting his worst enemy and now his greatest asset. So really good all around stuff from there. And yeah, I think overall it sets up the future really well for what's going to happen down the line in the summer months as we build up towards SummerSlam. Moving on to the next match, Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the United States Women's Championship. Selena ends up winning with a off the top rope code red, which was insane. Um, yeah, I think this was a fine match. I think both women did their job. Selena Vega was really good. Chelsea Green was really good. I think in terms of the rivalry itself, this probably was a good point to end it. Maybe we see it continue later on. But I think just giving Selena, her first real title defense on the PLE makes sense. Not having her drop the belt here makes sense. Have her kind of have a good continuous reign for a while makes sense. And look, I think Chelsea Green's going to be fine. She's funny, she's athletic, she's really good in the ring. She'll be fine. Selena will only get better from this and look better from this. So I think it makes a lot of sense for her to win the match. And look, I think going forward, it's good to see like these kind of mid card women's wrestlers get a very limited spot on a PLE, which is a very competitive spot to earn, but get a spot nonetheless and have a really decent match was really cool to see. Selena Vega, Chelsea Green are great workers and great wrestlers all around. So overall, solid match, solid B. Nothing too crazy. Off the top rope, Code Red was insane though. That was a spectacular maneuver that Selena Vega did. Um, and yeah, again, like I just think kind of to be expected. Match kind of went to be expected. You had the interference, but not affecting the champion. And Selena comes away with the win. And I think overall, like that's just a good thing for this division and for that title going forward. And I think it's a good pivoting off point to see where she'll go next and onto her next opponent, whether it is like a Alexa Bliss or somebody else. We'll see. Moving on to the third match of this card, which was oh god, John Cena versus R-Truth as the midpoint match in this Sunday night main event, whatever PLE, not PLE, whatever you want to call it, but R-Truth versus John Cena. Look, I mean, the match is nothing to write home about. It was a good, funny bit from R-Truth. I mean, you can't hate R-Truth. You love the guy. Ron Killings is fantastic at what he does, and how he's able to bring out just great comedy. Him coming out to Cena's music and wearing his gear and mimicking him was really cool. And yeah, I think it kind of went how everybody expected it to. R-Truth was never gonna win. That would have been the shock of the century. But yeah, Cena winning makes sense. Cena, I kind of wish that because this was like a 5 minute match. It wasn't a competitive match at all. And not to say like I want this match to be competitive, but I think what I wanted was it to be a little bit more brutal in like a weird sadistic way that I'm saying this, but I think they can like to continually build the heel character of Cena. He should have just like destroyed R-Truth like to the point of like he has to be out for months. Like really drive that point home. And him post match hitting him with the belt, I guess does effectively drive that point home that he has a bet. He's a heel and he is destroying his like own supporters. But I feel like it would have been more compelling and more interesting if he would like hit a concerto or if he would have, you know, did like a Randy punt or like not exactly a Randy punt, but like something of that nature where like he really hurt R-Truth and really like kind of had a moment of like self reflection into what he just did and really like drive the heel point home. Because I feel like Cena's been doing that, but he hasn't really been showing it. It's been kind of like one of the mill standard stuff, low blows and cheating and really like. But I feel like he's missing that kind of like I'm really a bad guy and I'm really the heel in this situation and I really am going to destroy what you love. And if R-Truth's what you love, I'm going to destroy that. I feel like we haven't seen that yet. And I think this was a good opportunity to do that, and they kind of just missed it. Um, but yeah, Cena winning was always going to happen. Not surprised. They're building up for what would happen in the main event, and now what's going to happen in Money in the Bank. So it makes a lot of sense there. I don't mind Cena winning at all. I think it makes sense for story wise. I just feel like it would have been a more substantial moment if he was actually showing how big of a heel he is by, I guess, like for like a better term, brutalizing R-Truth. So I guess it's just my main point. Matt, grade itself, I mean, it's a C. It's a C at best. I was gonna give it a C plus, but the match really was nothing. It was just kind of a 5 minute filler match with post match antics to kind of fill time, which is crazy to think about because Cena. But I mean, that's what it was. So Moving on, we have the fourth match: Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a steel cage. I didn't like. Here's the thing, right? Like, I don't mind this rivalry, and the two have this like weird chemistry that works together. Like they put on a great match. I just like don't feel like this like rivalry from them. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like storytelling wise, like it just hasn't worked the way that WWE wants it to work. And just feel like there's like you could kind of tell like this is a filler feud for both guys that have to move on from it eventually. Um, I think Drew just has to get out of this out of this picture with Damien and move on to a title picture. I think it makes more sense. Will they have one more match? Maybe. Maybe it's at SummerSlam where this will beef will like finally end. Um, I guess like in terms of matches, like it was a great match. It was really big guys hitting each other with big moves, type of thing, which is standard in WWE. But no, it was a good steel cage. For some reason, Damian Priest performs better in the steel cage than without a steel cage. Um, so yeah, I thought it was a great match from both of them. They did a really good job, and everything. The concerto part, I'm a little confused about from Priest, just because I don't know how that fits his character or this feud. Like Drew, like they had like the no hold bar match at um WrestleMania, but like Drew never really went that far in that match. And to whip out a concerto, one of like the few moves in WWE like people cringe at for how violent it is and how it can like set people back for months and people don't recover from concertos. To have use it on Drew in that situation, have him stand up, to me just like defeats the purpose of it, and like it gives Damien like a weird win, as opposed like if you would have beat him clean and beat him like would have literally just hit him with a chair and walking out of the ring. Like I mean, if walking out of the ring was the whole point, I don't know if that was doing the concerto was a way to use it in a way. So I mean, like if it extends the feud and this feud ends with now Drew getting like his revenge spot with a concerto, I guess it makes sense. But just in that situation, in that moment, it just felt weird to me at least. Um, but yeah, Damien winning. Uh, if the feud does continue into SummerSlam, it makes sense. I don't know where we go from here. We've regressed. We've gone from usually you go like normal match, normal match, steel cage match, then no holds barred match, and we're kind of going backwards where we're doing no holds barred, steel cage, and we might get a regular match. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in. I believe. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what the July PLE is, which I should know, but I don't. But we'll see what happens at SummerSlam. Maybe they do like a big match there. Maybe Hell in a Cell. Who knows? Um, but yeah, we'll see where we go from here with that. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, like it was a fine match in and of itself. Like I said, both guys really did well. They have this weird, good chemistry together, which you don't really expect. I didn't expect them to have it. You saw it in the WrestleMania match, and now you're seeing it here. I think just really good chemistry between the two of them. So yeah, solid match. I give it a B plus. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fun. Just the ending was kind of like a little bit weird and strange. But who am I to judge? I mean, hey, what do I know, right? What do I know? And then the main event of Saturday Night Main Event: Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Um, so this match actually was like really short for a main event. I think like the runtime was like 8 minutes, 12 minutes maybe at most. Um, and like I never, there was a part of me that thought maybe Logan Paul would win just for the pure shock factor of it. But at the same time, like Jay was never losing his first title defense, especially on a PLE and his first real big stage. And yeah, the match itself was fine. It had its usual shenanigans between Logan Paul matches and what Jey Uso normally does. There wasn't anything new added. There wasn't anything like more creative added. Just what they were kind of doing their own moves here and kind of not gonna say like going through the motions, but like it's what you expected to happen. Um, and yeah, I think overall, like again, like similar to the first match of the night, like the big talking point here is what happened at the end, with Cena coming in to interfere and attack Jey Uso, almost costing him the match, and then Cody Rhodes making his return and making the save, and announcing after Jey Uso got the win, and after Cody Rhodes rushed John Cena out of the ring. Cody Rhodes getting on the mic with, mind you, like 30 seconds left, cutting a great promo, just solid, straight to the point. You have your guy, I have my guy, tag team match, Money in the Bank, but really, really, just great work from Cody Rhodes, like on the dot, getting it to the second. So that was really, really cool. Really like a fun little detail on the promo there. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is just another. I think Rhodes coming back now sets up what's going to be his next feud with Cena into SummerSlam, most likely. Uh, so we'll see how that goes. I know people even wanted to wait on that and hold that trigger to like the end of the year. But I think Rhodes is your best babyface. Cena's one of your top heels. They have to be in the main event picture, especially at SummerSlam. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I think you get both of them on the card for Money in the Bank, which is a big pay per view in and of itself. You get both of your champions. You get one of your biggest faces, one of your biggest heels, and Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes on the card. So it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think overall it was just the match itself was fine. The ending was a little bit surprising, in terms of Cody Rhodes returning now and not really waiting on it. Um, So we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. They'll have their match at Money in the Bank in literally 2 weeks. I really forgot about that. So we'll see how that goes, and then I think it makes sense for all four men going forward. You get Logan Paul on another pay per view, which is wow, two in a month almost. That's crazy. Um, you get Cena in a feud, and you get on Money in the Bank, which makes a lot of sense. You get Cody Rhodes and Money in the Bank, and you get his feud started with Cena again. So we'll see where that leads. And then you get Jey Uso in the card as well. And I think after Money in the Bank, we'll see what's next for Jey. Maybe we'll get a cash in from the winner of the Money in the Bank, which I would hate because I hate when they do that. um, so we'll see. Maybe that's where Jey will drop the title. But I think Jay's reign. I think it makes sense that Jay won and retained and did not lose to Logan Paul. But if we're being honest, his days are numbered. His days are numbered as champ. It was a great story, a great run. It culminated at the win of WrestleMania. But I think we're at the point where maybe it's time to move on from Jay and start up a new feud somewhere else. So we'll see. Hey, I could be wrong, and I just feel like it would be after Money in the Bank is a good time for Jay to drop it, or at SummerSlam. I think doing it with Money in the Bank is a good way to kind of ease everybody off it. Like it's not like a Brock Lesnar Kofi King situation that happened a few years ago, right? This would be just a nice little like, oh, we lost the Money in the Bank. Just it is what it is. So I think that was to me what would make the most sense. But overall, the match itself was fine. Cena interfering was pretty cool, and now setting up Money in the Bank makes a lot of sense. And you kickstart the Rhodes Cena rivalry going into the summer. And so we'll see. We'll see if that is going to be the case, or if Cena will get a feud with somebody else. I know people were talking about Punk. Maybe that might be the last feud, maybe a Survivor Series feud. But I think for SummerSlam, you get Cena and Rhodes. It makes sense. It just makes sense. And that is going to wrap. Oh, the match grade. So yeah, main event. Logan Paul, Jey Uso, barely 12 minutes, if that, maybe 10. C plus, B minus. Match itself was just them kind of doing their own things. It's the ending that really kind of stuck it here. It sets up everything in the future. Solid Monday Night Raw episode. You know, solid overall card. Really good, really solid. Every match was really good. Didn't really have a complaint there. Every result made sense. You had a couple of good surprises. You have a transition with storylines, and I think you get your money. You get what you paid for, essentially, right? So overall card, solid B. Nothing to write home about. Nothing to be angry about. You just move on, and we get ready for Money in the Bank in 2 weeks. So that should be a lot of fun as well. So thank you guys for listening and hanging out. This has been the WWE Saturday night main event uh, review slash like analysis and reaction to it, if you will. This is the third. I think it's the third. It should be the third. Either the third or the fourth. I think it's the third Saturday night main event that we did. I love them. They're all great. They're all fun. It's a really great nostalgia trip and overall really good homage to their past heritage. So really cool to see. We'll be back for Money in the Bank. Either we'll do a pre-show or post prediction as well with that when that happens. So look forward to that. Again, thank you guys for listening and hanging out. I've been Daniel from The Get Back, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share, post on social media, spread it out, get everything out there, and make sure you guys stick around and see you guys next time. Peace.